Okay, so let's start. Let's jump into the conversation. And what I'll do is I'm gonna display a picture over here right now. I'll come back to all your questions real soon. But today, what we're gonna do is this is the picture that we're gonna talk about. And this picture was shot a couple of months back. And this was a lot of people keep asking me about how I light my photos, what kind of equipment do I use, how many assistants do I have, what are the bare minimum what is the bare minimum equipment that one needs to have. They're pretty much interested in how I do things, why I do it, what I do, how much of editing do I do. So all of those questions I'm trying to decode. I'm going to take it one picture after the other. So today we are going to talk only about this picture. So that's the whole topic of discussion today. So regarding this and whatever I'm going to explain, if you want to ask me any questions, feel free to just shoot them at me. I'll try to answer them as per the best of my knowledge and whatever time is available. We plan to stretch it for 30 minutes. So I think by 5:30, 5:40, all of you will be free to go. So hang in there. So this is the picture we're going to talk about, and so a little bit background about why I thought of shooting this picture. So I'm a big fan of fancy hair. So I really feel that if I'm shooting a female, which I do most of the times, I really feel the way the hair of the person is really lends a lot of character. It really lends a lot of uh, how do I say it? It basically dominates the frame. If you've got bad hair, I don't see a picture coming out really well unless the hair is intentionally kept bad. But again, there's a very thin line to what's good hair and what's bad hair. So if you see all my concept shoots, this is one of my concept shots. I really try to have very dramatic hair in which the makeup and hairstylist on this photograph, Aton, who I've worked with excessively, and hats off to his creativity with what he does with the hair and how he does it. So there's a series of pictures that I've shot with him. So going forward with this, what we did is we added a lot of extensions to the model, uh, uh, the hair extensions to the model's existing hair, and I think a good 2.5 hours went behind getting this look. I don't really do much of referencing, but yeah, a little bit of referencing is required because I need to tell the model, I need to tell the makeup artist on what lines do I want to take my shot. So a little bit of referencing was done, but the overall mood of the picture, like I told in my previous webinars and previous live sessions where people were asking me questions, I don't really plan too much for these kind of photo shoots. So I just knew what kind of hair I wanted. I knew which model did I want to shoot with. I've shot a lot with Gitanjali. She's got a very high fashion body language, very high fashion body language, and she's got the attitude which I really like. Also, she's very good at taking instructions, so she blends into a lot of different things that I want her to do. So yeah, it's good working with her. So that was it regarding the choice of the model. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take you behind the scenes, and I'm going to show you a picture where I've just made some markings and I'm just going to show it to you. It's going to take, I think, maybe 5 to 10 seconds for it to display on your screen, but this is the final output that I got. And the behind the scenes shot looks something like this. So just hang on to your screens, it'll load any second. Great. So I think pretty much everybody would be able to see the new photo on the screen. So what I've done over here is, so this is a place which is right adjacent. This is my property itself. It's right adjacent to where my studio is. It's just like a parking lot, which is not used anymore. And these bougainvillea flowers are my favorite. Whenever I see them, I'm always in awe of them. So I've been seeing this entire, the hedging that has been done on the wall, on the fence with these beautiful pink flowers. So my studio is a place where I've been born and brought up. So I've been here since forever. Uh, So I've been seeing these bougainvillea flowers over here, and I've been admiring them since I was a kid, because just the way they are bright and pink, and there are just so many of them. And it's the whole bushy feeling of that is something that has always got my attention. So I've always said to myself that in the full bloom of these flowers, I definitely want to take a couple of shots over there. And these flowers were in full bloom, and we just thought of taking the shot over there. So I had to get the model ready. Now there are a couple of things over here which I have marked. So you'll see numbers 1, which is on the reflector, 2nd, which is on the skimmer, 3rd, which is on the model. So I'm going to talk about her outfit, and 4th, number 4 is the flowers as such, and natural light. So believe it or not, this picture was shot using only one reflector, which you see marked as number 1. This is broad daylight, so I think the time of the shot was about 12:31 in the afternoon. So at that point, you expect a very harsh overhead lighting, but that is exactly what we wanted. So we've got the skimmer, which 2 of my guys are holding on top of Gitanjali, who's my model. So this basically flattens out all the ugly shadows, the unwanted shadows on the face, and it cuts the hard light, it skims the hard light, and what you get under it is very nice, soft and diffuse light, which is going all over the face. Now, the closer you get the skimmer down to the head of the model, the brighter and harder the light is going to become, and the further away you take it, it's just going to have like a reverse effect. So the skimmer is put over the model just to skim the light, get soft lighting on the face. But once I do that, what I get on the entire face and the body is all, just like a single tone, single intensity soft light. So there's got to be a bump in the picture. There's got to be some, kick in the picture, which this reflector marked as number 1 is creating. So if you see carefully, the reflector, which is marked number 1, is highlighting the edge of the model. If you see the hand, if you see this part of the model's right hand, it's getting a sort of an edge or like a back cross lighting, and the same light is reflected also in the hair, bringing about the texture of the model's hair. So that reflector is solving 2 purposes. Second, the skimmer I already spoke about. Number 4 is basically all natural light. So all the flowers and all the greens in the background are lit by pure natural light. I did not really want to mess with that. What I've also done, which you will see in the next photo, is I've added one more light in the background, which is gonna give her a kick from the back of the head, and it's gonna eliminate the peripheral portion of the model's silhouette. I've made her wear. So I'm going to number 3 right now, which is the model's dress. I wanted something which is not very distracting, because you already have the lush green of the leaves and bright hot pink of the flowers happening. On top of that, I did not really want anything which is very bright or very flowy. So I've given her a plain black outfit which is very structured, because she's got a good jawline and she's got nice collarbones. So I just wanted her upper body to be done justice to. So I've given her very structured, a black dress. Initially, I thought of sitting the model down on that tall stool, but then I realized that it is restricting her, because the stool was a little tall, and even in terms of her movement, it was not really working out very well. So the final shot was taken with her stepping down from the stool, and I completely put her into the greens, like she was actually merging with the greens. So I'm gonna move from this picture to another behind the scenes picture which I really want to share with you. So it looks something like this. So if you see over here, again, it's just like a different axis. If you see, okay, I hope the picture is loaded on everybody's screen. If I'm just going to take a minute for all of you to be able to see this photograph. I can see the questions coming. Great. Yeah, so now let's talk about this behind the scenes picture. So you can see the setup. It's right on the main road. It's just a parking area where I've taken this shot. So again, number 1, the model is wearing a structured outfit. I also wanted her hands and her body. I wanted her to bend in as many ways as possible. So I gave her those instructions. The skimmer is in place. Also, which is I think hidden behind the window of my photograph. If you see number 3, it's actually a reflector bowl. You know, it's like a bare, it's like a naked light. I don't remember which light I'm using. It's a naked light, but it's just got a reflector bowl on it, or you know, as some people will call it, a spill kill, or some people might call it a reflector bowl. So that reflector bowl is basically highlighting the edge of the hair and also giving her cheekbones and her jawline a little more definition by pumping in some light over there into the shadows. So that's what the light at number 3 is doing. Number 2 is the reflector, is the skimmer, which I already talked about. Number 5 is the natural light again, with the beautiful pinks and the greens happening. Also, if you can see number 4, I've drawn 2-3 lines, and I have marked a number 4 down there. So number 4 is basically me creating the foreground. You know, so I've physically gone inside the bushes, and this is not the final shot. For the final shot, she's not standing away from the entire wall of green and the flowers. She's basically standing inside. If this is the wall, she's actually standing inside the whole greens, you know. That's one way that I thought was interesting for her to merge with the background, you know, and not really have too much of separation, too much of gap between both these elements. And for me also, I was exactly in her axis. If you see at the bottom, now this shoot axis, the arrow on the right side, is the shoot axis when she was standing away from the flowers. But then it did not really work for the shot, because of which, you know, we have one more arrow on the left which says shoot axis for the final shot. Now I'm doing this for the first time, so pardon my I think that the layout has gone a little bad, because a lot of text is getting hidden behind all these comments, and I think even a little bit is getting hidden behind my own window on top. So the next photo breakdown that we will do, I will take care of all these things. So yeah, so the shoot axis, the final shoot axis, is where I've shot the picture from. And if you see number 4, number 4 is basically all the small flowers which were exactly in front of my camera, in front of my lens. So I love creating very diffused foregrounds. I always have something or the other which is coming very close to the lens, so much so that, you know, it goes out of focus and it just creates an illusion of having more depth. It also creates a very interesting composition in the way viewer's eye is led to the main subject, you know. So that's also one of the intentions behind doing this. So what I mean to say is, let me just go back to the final picture. Where is it? Okay. Okay, there you go. So this is something I want you to look at. So again, if you see number 1, all the arrows which are coming down from the top, so that's the diffused soft light which is coming down from the skimmer and giving her a nice pleasant look on the face. I have shot this on the Hasselblad camera, and my aperture is completely open at I think 3.5. It's a 150mm lens. I love going, you know, up close into the subject's faces, because I really feel close shots can create very dramatic compositions. So that's number 2, which is the skim light coming from the top. Then I've got a number 2 over here, where, you know, I told you before that I've got these flowers very close to my lens. If this is my lens, the flowers are nearly touching the lens, you know, so that gives me a nice bokeh in the foreground, you know, creating that beautiful depth, you know, and it feels like she's completely merged into the background, which is the feeling you get just by getting these 3-4 flowers in the foreground and throwing them out of focus. Then in terms of post-processing, so this picture is directly from the camera. I have not done anything to this photograph. The only thing that I've done over here is, you know, the hair was getting completely dark. So if you see number 3 and number 4, so those areas of the hair, I have just slightly moved the slider to open up the shadows of the hair by maybe 15%. That's the only editing that I've done in this picture. Other than that, you know, it's directly from the camera. What I've done is also desaturated it. So yeah, that's the extent of it. Also, if you see number 5, you know, we had put a couple of pins over here to hold her hair flat on both the sides. So those 3-4 hairpins were removed in post by using, I think, the heel tool or the clone stamp tool. But that's the extent of editing that has been done over here. And As I always like to direct my model, I really feel that on any shoot, I think a photographer needs to be more of a psychologist than a photographer, because you are constantly tinkering with the psyche of the model in front of you. The more comfortable you make her, the more you tap into her comfort zone, and you the more you make it easy for her to bring her best side out. I think that's the real job of a photographer. The clicking pictures part, obviously it's a given that you can do that much. So I think directing the model is very important. Telling the model what you want is very important. Over here, I was of course giving her a very free hand in terms of what she wants to do, but after me seeing what she was doing, after that it was more about me taking it to the next level in terms of doing the fine adjustments. So you basically give the model a direction that you want her to go in, and then completely let loose, because she's definitely going to bring something very unique to the table, to the plate. If you are going to be a control freak and you're going to tell her everything about how many inches the chin needs to be in the air, and what is the angle of her bending in the front with the back, if you're going to go down to those kind of details, and some people do because they feel that that's the kind of planning that they've done. But again, I keep telling people that there's a certain magic that needs to happen by itself. It needs to happen automatically while the shoot is happening. It's just how the synergy of the shoot should work out. So allow for that window where some kind of magic can happen, and I think it's happened over here pretty well for me. And yeah, I think that's pretty much how it was shot. I'm gonna just put the original picture back on screen. So this is what the final picture looks like. Also, I'm a huge fan when I'm doing my editing, when I'm doing my raw treatment on my raw photos. A couple of things that I really play around with is the brightness, contrast, the saturation. I also play a little bit with the shadows and the highlights. And I also play with the color temperature. I think that's my favorite control. It's just my thing of adding a slightly cooler tone to all my pictures. So I usually will pump in maybe about 8 to 10% of blue in all my shadows. Even the skin tone, I try and punch in a little bit of green in the highlights to get that nice movie like skin tone. That's one more thing that I love doing. I'm also somehow a big fan of the model never looking in the camera. I don't know. I somehow don't like those pictures. So if you see most of my pictures that I've shot for myself, you'll see pictures of the model looking away, and I also don't really like them smiling a lot, because I really feel the minute you have an eye connect, the minute you have a smile, if you're shooting a picture, if you're shooting a portrait, if you're shooting a portfolio, it's great because then you want to make that entire thing about the model. But over here, I want the entire frame. I want people to look at the hairstyling. I want people to look at the attitude, the way she's leaning out of the foliage. I want people to look at the background, the greens, the browns, the pinks in the foreground, the pinks in the background. What happens when you have an eye connect is things don't remain about whatever that I have told you about right now. When you have an eye connect, things immediately become about the person who's in front of the camera. Who in this case, if she would look at me, I think the first point of connect would be her. The picture would be more about her. On top of that, you make her smile. It's going to be at least 50 to 60% about her than what else is happening in the frame. And I probably somehow don't like that, because I want the entire frame to have an impact. So I think these are 2-3 things that I don't really observe, but it's just become a habit, and it's just become my style of work, as I have progressed over the years. Of course, it's taken me almost 17 years of being in photography to develop a certain style of working. So much so that a lot of people that I know, they see some pictures out there, and without even knowing it's clicked by me, they sort of know that it's clicked by me. And I think if any photographer can achieve that, I think it's a really good start, and it's a big thing for anyone to build their own style. So yes, so that's pretty much it. That's how this image was shot, and I plan to do this at least once every week. I'll try to do it twice a week. And if you want me to talk about anything specific about my pictures, or if you want me to break down any picture that you've seen on my Instagram or my website, you can directly send me a DM, and I will try to cover that picture. Also, this is the first time I'm doing like a photo breakdown, so if you can tell me what you liked, what you did not like, that will also really help me a lot in terms of bringing you knowledge. Also, a lot of people know that I'm someone who does not really feel insecure about sharing my knowledge, how I've shot it, where I've shot it, what is the kind of lighting that I've done, how have I achieved certain effects. I really don't have any hiccups about sharing all my knowledge with you people. So just ask away, and be assured that whatever your questions are, I'll try to answer them as elaborately as possible. So I think let's get to the end of this now. So now is the time, you can just shoot all your questions, whatever you have. I think we can give it about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm just going to quickly go through whatever has been sent to me, and if those people are still online, then let's see. Okay, dramatic style image breakdown. Yes, Gautam, that was the idea. Atul Gaikwad, then Murid Bhai, thank you so much. Exquisitely done. I try, man. I try whatever I can. Uh, HK876063, buddy, if I off the comments, then people will not be able to ask me any questions. So it will not be a interactive sessions, but I'll see what I can do about it. Sem underscore Rokas. Yeah, I don't know what your real name is, but I've seen your page and you've got some really, really good stuff. Also, I would like to know what have you shot from that entire collection, because I saw some really impressive pictures over there. Then, okay, switch off the comments. I think switch off the comments is a constant thing that's coming. So maybe I'll do it for the next one. Samir Gawane, and yes, any questions, guys? Now is the time. I'm gonna conclude this in 5 minutes. Thank you, Samir Gawane. Onkar, hard light. No, it's not hard light. It's in fact very soft light. Parth Desai. Samir sir, you'll always remain in my memory forever. Thank you so much, man. This is so sweet for me to hear. One of those days when I need that kind of love and affection. Thank you, Mona. Thank you. So good to see you. Hina, there you are. I hope everything is fine in Italy now. Yeah, I really work. Samir always has a dream team. Yes, I try to work very hard on the kind of people that I work with, to get the optimum result. Thank you so much. Karan, hi, man. Okay, guest lecture in MIT College. Yeah, Parth. I remember I did so many guest lectures in MIT College School of Photography. Ask them to call me again. I'll be there. I enjoy taking those sessions. Yashodhara Deshpande, would be a pleasure to get a chance to work with you. Likewise, you tell me what you do, send me your profile, and we'll see what can be worked out. My Mrunmai, very big fan of you and your work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I try to do my best. Dhanraj Gaikwad, which shoots are coming soon? There are a couple of leads now that the market is opening up. There are a couple of leads coming in. So I'm just gonna have to wait and see which of them materialize. And yeah, I'm the first one to always talk about what I'm doing and what I've done. So you'll get the updates really soon. Great. So, okay. Jyoti Singh official, would love to get a chance to work with you. Thank you, Jyoti. Again, send me your profile, tell me what you do, and we'll see if we can work something out. Sahil Tamane, hello Dada, कसे आहात? I'm good, Sahil. एकदम छान. तू कसा है? Which camera do I use? So I've got two systems. I've got a 35mm Canon 5D SR, and I've also got the Hasselblad, which is a recent acquisition. So depending on what the job calls for, I choose which camera I want to use. Lokesh, thank you, yaar. The whole idea was to share knowledge, and I'm glad. I hope that all the people out there are taking something back from this. Single point or all point focus in beauty shots. So single point or all focus points in beauty shots. I prefer doing single point HK876063. I don't know what your name is, but I prefer doing single point because it really helps me control what part of the picture is in focus. So yeah. Sandy Barate, hi Sandy, I'm good. Yaar, good to see you in all my live sessions. Hi Anu. How do you lock JPEG image to avoid editing? How do you lock JPEG image? I didn't get your question, Gautam. I'm so sorry. Camera Arts Photography, thank you, sir, for your great experience and knowledge. Will help us a lot. Yes, buddy, I'm going to try and make it more and more in detail and more elaborate. I'm going to make more and more slides so that I can share more knowledge with you. Like I said, DM me what you want to know and which pictures you want me to deconstruct. Because the more complex the lighting looks, trust me, the simpler it is. So I don't mind sharing all my knowledge. Let me know what you want to listen to. Please make a breakdown on Svetlana's picture with lens baby. So Aditya, just DM me which picture you want and I will work on it. Great, I think we are pretty much done. Netra Photography, can I get a chance to assist you? Yeah man, we need assistance. So in my profile there's a number that's written. You can call and speak to my guy Rahul. He will help you with whatever details you want. Any suggestions in shooting in direct sunlight? Chai.soak. Yeah, you can shoot. Suggestions, I think you need to have your reflectors, you need to have your cutters, and you need to have your skimmers. So I think shooting in natural light is initially very difficult, but once you master it, you will not shoot in any other light. So I think go for it. Preeti C. Misal, मी खूप वेळा ट्राय केलं तुमच्याशी कॉन्टॅक्ट करायचा. Tell me what your request is. Tell me what you want to get in touch about, and I will point you towards the correct person. Latif Photo, hello, all the way from Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much. Thank you. I keep coming to Dubai. I think that's the closest I've been to Saudi Arabia. I work out of Dubai also. So next time if you're there, do get in touch. Do you try to keep everything in frame, or it's okay to crop things like hair or torso? I crop things all the time. I chop off heads, I chop off ears, I chop off bodies. I think that that's just a part of composition. And being an artist, you really need to have you need to have some artistic liberties which you can take as long as the picture looks good. Yeah, it's really okay to chop off whatever you want. Asad, hi. Clients use re-edit images, so I want to avoid that by locking the JPEG. No, you can't lock a JPEG image. I don't know. At least I don't know how you can lock a JPEG image, because technology is so advanced that people will find a way of just getting around it and getting it done. Man behind the camera, sir, please view my profile. I will. Actually, I've heard your name many times from my sir, Sagar Gotkhindikar. I've heard of Sagar's name. I can't really place him right now. What kind of pre-shoot preparations do you do? I don't do a lot of pre-shoot preparation. Good bole VRD. I hardly do any shoot preparations. I just need to know what is the scope of work, what all needs to be done, what is the final output that the client is expecting. I just need to know which team I'm having, who am I taking for what kind of work, because team is very important. They help me get the job done. Apart from that, I just decide on which camera I want to take, how many lights do I want to take, and I just have in my head a very vague picture of how I want the final shot to look like. Kolhapurla play workshop kadi hota, sir? We will plan something in Kolhapur, Hemant. Indoor photography or outdoor photography? I prefer outdoor photography. I've been an indoor photography guy all my life, but now the plain backgrounds and the stereotypical work is getting really boring. So outdoor photography is it for me. Medium format camera, do you make a lot of using medium format camera makes a lot of difference. Honestly, it's an overkill. Depends on what is the end use of the photographs. Medium format is great if you're shooting garments, because the kind of details you'll see in garments, you can't ever get that from a 35mm camera. Great. So I think it's already 5:40. I don't want to really keep you waiting. Even I've got places to go to. So I'll see you for the next photo breakdown. Like I said, DM me, tell me what you would like me to add, or what you would like me to remove, and we can take it forward from there. Cool, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.